Tomorrow, Barcelona begin their La Liga title defense against Elche, and there's a real chance an 18-year-old nobody outside Catalonia had heard of 3 months ago is in that squad. Hansi Flick has already confirmed it. Hamza Abdelkarim will travel with the team. By the end of this video, you're going to understand why some people inside the club now think Barcelona might not need to spend a single euro on a striker this year, and why that belief just got a lot more expensive to ignore. Stay with me, because the proof is stranger than the headline. His name is Hamza Abdelkarim. He's 18 years old, and what he's done in the last month might quietly be the biggest story of Barcelona's entire summer, bigger than any transfer that didn't happen. Picture where Barcelona actually stood heading into this summer. Robert Lewandowski and Ferran Torres both gone. The one striker they actually wanted from outside, Julian Alvarez, completely stuck. Barcelona reportedly put in a €100 million bid for him. Atletico didn't even respond. Instead, Atletico's own officials went public with complaints, and the club has now filed an official protest against Barcelona with the Spanish Federation and FIFA. So the market Barcelona were counting on turned into a legal mess instead of a transfer. Meanwhile, something else was happening on the inside that almost nobody was paying attention to. Once you see it, you won't be able to unsee it. There's one word that explains almost everything about this kid, and it's the one thing you genuinely cannot coach into a striker. Instinct. Most strikers wait for the chance to appear, then react to it. Hamza does the opposite. He starts moving before the chance even exists. If that sounds like a small difference, watch what it actually looked like against Birmingham City, because this is where it gets uncomfortable for defenders. Hamza scored both Barcelona goals that day. The first was a penalty he practically created himself, attacking the box early enough to force the foul before the ball even arrived. The second was a poacher's finish on the rebound. He was already moving toward the spill before the goalkeeper had even made the save. Hold that image for a second, because I want to show you something. Watch this next clip before I tell you who it is. A striker gets an awkward ball whipped to the back post, adjusts his body before it even arrives, and finishes without a single touch. That's Erling Haaland against Manchester City. Nobody is saying an 18-year-old with 4 senior goals is already Haaland. That's not the claim. The claim is something much more specific and much harder to fake. Both of them win the goal before the ball ever reaches them. Birmingham, moving before the chance exists. Manchester City, moving before the chance exists. Different competitions entirely. Same instinct. Defenders in La Liga should be paying attention to this next clip specifically, and I want you to watch the run, not the finish. 10 days ago, against Basel, Hamza came off the bench for Anthony Gordon at halftime. It took him minutes to make an impact, a first-time finish, no control taken, in a 5-2 win that had the Barcelona staff praising him publicly before the club had even faced their next opponent. He's not reacting to these chances. He's already gone, moving towards space nobody else has identified yet, before the ball arrives. That's a striker who processes the play before anyone else in the box does. Here's the part that should really make you sit up. We've seen this exact pattern before, from someone considered one of the most clinical finishers alive. Kylian Mbappe, against Bayern Munich. Trent Alexander-Arnold sends a low ball across the box, and Mbappe is attacking the space the pass hasn't even reached yet. The similarity isn't the finish, it's when the run starts. Different wingers, different competitions, same head start. One more comparison is coming, and it might be the most telling one of all. I want you to watch this next clip completely blind. Don't read ahead, just take it in. A striker starts against his former club, plays 73 minutes, and scores the opening goal in a trophy-deciding match, in front of the exact fans who used to cheer for him. That's the Joan Gamper Trophy 4 days ago. Barcelona hosted Al Ahly, the biggest club in Africa, and the club Hamza left to sign for Barça. He started. He scored first. Barcelona won 2-1 and lifted the trophy. It was Hamza. And it wasn't just a feel-good moment. It was 4 goals in 3 appearances across the entire preseason: Birmingham, Basel, and Al Ahly, making him Barcelona's outright top scorer heading into a competitive season. 3 different matches, 3 different ways of scoring, a penalty won through movement, a first-time finish off the bench, and a composed opener against the club that raised him. That's not variance, that's a profile. But before you get too carried away with all of this, there's a version of this story that isn't nearly as clean. Because here's what the highlight reel doesn't show you, and it's the exact reason some people inside Spanish football aren't fully convinced yet. 4 goals in 3 appearances is a real number. It's also, statistically, a tiny sample, 3 matches, against opposition that included a championship side and his own former club, not a season of La Liga defenses. Scouts who are paid to be skeptical will tell you a hot preseason is one of the least reliable predictors in football. There's also the uncomfortable detail nobody on the hype side wants to bring up. Barcelona are still technically in the market for a striker. Deco has left the door open publicly. If Atletico ever budge on Alvarez, or if another name becomes available in January, Hamza doesn't automatically become the long-term answer just because of one good preseason. He becomes competition for a spot the club might still try to buy over his head. And there's the small matter of tomorrow itself. Being in the squad against Elche is confirmed. Starting is not. Flick has given him minutes off the bench and late preseason starts. A genuine Liga debut in a real title defense is still an open question with no guaranteed answer. So the honest version of this story isn't Barcelona found their next Haaland. It's something narrower and arguably more interesting. An 18-year-old forced his way into a conversation he wasn't supposed to be part of yet. Whether the club fully trusts him with it starts getting answered tomorrow. Because here's what makes the doubt harder to dismiss than it should be. Before he ever set foot in Spain, Hamza had made his senior debut for Al Ahly in February 2025 and spent most of the following year fighting for minutes. Then came the Under-17 World Cup in Qatar, where FIFA itself named him one of 7 breakout talents to watch, alongside names now at Dortmund, Lyon, and Cruzeiro. Then the 2026 World Cup. Hamza made Egypt's squad wearing the number 9, in an attack that also included Mohamed Salah and Omar Marmoush. He featured in 4 of Egypt's 5 matches as the Pharaohs reached the round of 16, real senior minutes, on the biggest stage in the sport, before he'd even made his first appearance for Barcelona's first team. And now this. 4 goals in 3 preseason matches. A €1.5 million signing whose release clause Barcelona are reportedly raising to €150 million, according to Catalan outlet Sport, a tenfold jump that isn't the kind of number a club attaches to a player it sees as a temporary stopgap. A small preseason sample is still a fair point. A pattern that runs through Al Ahly, a World Cup, and now Camp Nou is a much harder one to write off as noise. Barcelona fans already know this, even if they've never said it out loud. La Masia, arguably the greatest academy in football history, has one glaring blind spot. It almost never produces a pure number 9. Go through the list of Barcelona's great modern strikers: Ronaldinho, Ronaldo Nazario, Patrick Kluivert, Samuel Eto'o, Luis Suarez, Robert Lewandowski, Zlatan Ibrahimovic. Not one of them came through the academy from childhood. Not one. Hamza is exactly what makes that blind spot interesting right now. He didn't come from inside that system, and he isn't even La Masia's discovery in the traditional sense. Barcelona's own president, through his relationship with Al Ahly's leadership, helped open the door for a deal that made Hamza the first Egyptian player in the club's history. He arrived from outside already carrying the one thing La Masia has never been able to manufacture: instinct, power, and obsession with finishing. Now the club just has to build the rest around him. One more thing that happened this week makes this whole story even harder to write off as hype. It's not just outsiders saying it anymore. Eric Garcia, Hamza's own teammate, was asked about him directly this week and didn't hedge. "I didn't know him, and he surprised me," Garcia said, before adding the line that matters most. "If he keeps working this way, he will become a very important striker in the future." That's not a marketing quote. That's a senior professional inside the dressing room saying the quiet part out loud. Pair that with the release clause news, a move from €15 million to a reported €150 million, and you have a club that isn't just tolerating Hamza's rise, it's pricing him like they believe it. Here's the truth: Hamza is not the finished product, and pretending otherwise would be lying to you. He's still an 18-year-old with 3 senior appearances for Barcelona's first team and 4 for his country, real experience, but a small body of work compared to the players he's being compared to in this video. His link-up play outside the box is still described as a work in progress, even by the scouts who rate him. He is not Haaland, and he's not Kane, Alvarez, or Mbappe either. He's an 18-year-old with barely any senior minutes to his name, learning in real time, with real doubters inside the game who think this is preseason noise. But his goals already carry fragments of players well above his level. And that's the part the skeptics still have to explain. Because the scary truth is, Hamza just keeps scoring. Barcelona spent this entire summer searching outside the club for their next number 9. They bid €100 million for one and didn't even get an answer. They're now dealing with a formal complaint instead of a transfer. And somewhere in the middle of all that, an 18-year-old who joined on loan in January quietly became Barcelona's top scorer of preseason, earned a teammate's unprompted praise, and forced the club to start talking about a tenfold increase to his release clause, all before he's played a single official minute. The market is still technically open. Deco hasn't closed that door. But for the first time in a long time, Barcelona might not need to walk through it. Tomorrow, against Elche, we find out how far Flick is actually willing to go. But whatever happens in that squad list, the scary truth is, Hamza Abdelkarim just keeps scoring.